Devoted husband shocked to discover his wife's betrayal, an ongoing affair and pregnancy with her affair partner's child. Hey guys, welcome back to Alpha Talk. So for today, I'm going to go over a story titled, Just as I'm getting over the shock of my wife's affair, I find out she's pregnant by her affair partner, what now? And a big shout out to Oscar for sending me this story. And guys, what we have here is another story about a guy who basically thought he was doing everything right in his marriage, but was basically the guy that does whatever his wife says, and is shocked to find out that she's having an affair. And guys, I gotta tell you, one of the most common themes of all these stories I do, where these guys think they're really good husbands and good boyfriends and all that, and they usually are to a degree, and are completely shocked that this happens, is that they're all completely pee-whipped by their wives or girlfriends or whatever, okay? These guys are always complete and total doormats. They do whatever she wants. Basically, they are complete weaklings, okay? Whatever she says, they do. She says jump, they say, oh, how high? And guys, I've told you this more times than I can remember. If a woman doesn't respect you, she's not going to love you. And if she doesn't love you, it is only a matter of time before one of two things happens. Either she just dumps you for some other guy that actually acts like a man, stands up to her, and isn't a doormat and a pushover. Or, two, she's going to cheat on you or have an affair or something like that every time, okay? So, she's not going to respect you if you go around letting her tell you what to do and boss you around and run the relationship. She's not going to respect you if you don't stand up for yourself. Because believe me, guys, women test guys all the time, and if they sense weakness, they're going to say and do things just to make sure you're not actually weak. And if you fail those tests, then there's going to be more tests, more drama, more, until you finally act like a man and stand up for yourself. Guys that have a lot of options of women, guys that are successful and have high value, high status guys that have a lot going on in their lives, they don't tolerate that kind of crap. They're not going to be bossed around or mistreated. So this type of stuff generally is not going to happen to them until they cave and start acting weak. So guys, for you guys to do relationships and all that, remember that. But a lot of guys have it in their heads and they've got to let their lady tell them what to do and be a doormat and be bossed around because, of course, that's what you see on TV and movies. So they figure, hey, that's how I'm supposed to act, right, to get her to love me? Wrong. And so let me go through this story, guys, and you're going to see here that this guy does a couple things that he's a good guy and trying to be a good husband and father and provider, but Jessie is so weak and so bossed around. Is it any wonder that she does what she does? I'm not excusing her actions, but again, you'll just see as I go along here. So it starts off. My wife, a 26-year-old female, and I, a 29-year-old male, pretty much have not had sex since COVID started. Mostly because, 2 months into it, I lost my job as an office manager at a small business. There were no other jobs hiring as much as hospital jobs, so I made the decision to become a janitor at a hospital. So, he loses his job because of COVID. There's no other options, because we all know darn well where the world went a year ago. People were losing their jobs left and right, because people obviously weren't allowed to leave and go work, okay? And so, this guy took any job he could get to take care and provide for his family, okay? And I respect that. Good for him for doing what he had to do to take care, ends meet, okay? But watch what happens here. The steep drop in income, as well as I'd be working on the front lines, made my wife tell me that she can't bear to touch me at all. I end up making the decision that, because my dad had an empty room about a detached garage, that, for the time being, I'd go to work and then go home to my dad's garage with a separate entrance. So I wasn't putting anyone at risk. Well, I respect again that the guy wants to make sure his family's safe, and yes, a year ago, when this all began, that paranoia and all that was at its peak. But still, his house is his house. His kingdom is his kingdom. Okay? Unfortunately, the queen is running the castle, not the king. And you're gonna see here, I thought things were going okay. My wife and I had a 3-year-old daughter together, and I'd FaceTime her whenever I could. But my wife started getting distant and asking if I could pick up another job, because her finances were still so tight. Number 1, do you really think he'd be working the job as a janitor at the hospital if he had a manager's job beforehand? If he had other options here, he's doing what he had to do. And number 2, where's her job? Why can't she get up off her ass and get a job herself? How about that idea? How about that? Something she can do. And I don't mean OnlyFans. I'm sure there's something she could do to get a job or something. I know they have a 3-year-old daughter, but arrangements could be made. Babysitting can be made or something like that with the family, right? Because he said his dad's house wasn't too far away. Where's her job, right? Why does that all have to be on this guy? She was disappointed when I said I didn't think I could find any other. A&E. And the people at the hospital were telling us that overworking ourselves would really do us in if the virus happened to be incubating inside of us. I would call my wife, and she started not answering my calls until later. I was the most alone I've ever been, but I thought that at least my wife seemed to be okay, since she was posting about having Zoom wine and cheese nights or virtual board game nights with her friends pretty much every night. Slowly, though, my wife's FaceTime calls would be reduced to a few quick words with my wife before she put the phone down on my daughter. So, the wife is having a good old time at home, FaceTiming with her friends, Zoom sessions, Zoom cheese and wine nights, and all that stuff that everybody was doing a year ago. Meanwhile, this guy is away from his family, away from his wife, away from his daughter, living above the garage at his dad's, just working a job as a janitor, and she's giving him. Because he's not bringing in enough money, even though he's doing what he has to do. Real great wife, huh? And also, I might add that she's now pressuring him to get a different job, and she won't even talk to him, right? This is where this guy needs to be laying down the law with her, okay? Now, it was his choice to go. Now, I have to wonder, though, when he said that he made the choice to go live at his dad's house, I really gotta wonder if he made that choice, or she manipulated things for him to think he was making that choice. Even though that was her putting the idea in his head, why don't you go live with your dad's house to play it safe, or something like that, so she could have her. Her free time to herself, who knows? It continues. I came home around the fall of 2020. However, my wife said she'd rather I sleep in the guest bedroom and keep most of my activities restricted to that area. You gotta be kidding me. This guy's been doing the job of a janitor for 6+ months. He's been, living away, and now he comes back home, and she says that he should stay in the guest bedroom and stay put there? Who the hell does she think she is? But he obeys. So, basically, from that point on all the way to March, I would spend most of my time at home in my separate room, and only my daughter would sometimes come in. So, your wife sent you to your room, okay? What kind? No man is gonna act that way, okay? No guy that respects himself is gonna let his wife say, I'd rather have you in the other room and, keep to yourself and all that. But, this is my house. I'm going to walk around, do where I want, and we're gonna sleep together, and you know what? I'm not going to sleep in another room. You gotta be kidding me, but this guy allows it. Is it any wonder some of these things that you're about to hear about do happen? Because I know. You can just tell darn well the way he tells the story, and amongst other things, is you're going to hear about that this guy obviously has a history of this, so he doesn't respect him. I started suspecting something suspicious when my wife would just leave the house for long periods of time. Also, I saw discarded price tags of expensive clothes and other stuff that I knew we wouldn't be affording on my salary. She lays her iPad open one day, and I see a trail of money transfers via Zelle from the same person. Ah, how interesting. Where is this money coming from? What is she doing to get this money? She finally admits to the affair but phrases it as if she was in total survival mode and sarcastically said that I had hopped off into the sunset, like you were going off to war and I was supposed to wait at the windows still for you. It didn't sound like that. They were almost ready to be kicked out of their house and not be able to pay their mortgage. Obviously, money was tight, and this guy was he had to DDO. But she was using this as an excuse to have an affair and got her affair partner to give her money. She sounds like a classy gal, huh? But I want to point out that she is only 26 years old, and the daughter's 3, therefore she was 23 when she had the daughter. I mean, she was probably 22 when she got pregnant, so they probably got together and got serious around that time. Very young again. In today's world, the the 20-something, a lot of the T20-something women especially, they come out of college in the early 20s, they're immature as hell. They're not much different than high school kids, okay? There are exceptions. So, you expect her to be this loving wife and do all these things that maybe a good wife would do back in the day? No, look how she treats him. But the other day, he allows her to treat him that way. He doesn't stand up for himself. After our blowout argument, I go to my dad's house to blow off steam. When I get back home, my daughter was up already, but my wife was sleeping. She was clearly upset and could sense we were fighting. And now, this is the household that this doormat's gonna grow up in. This guy should have ended that relationship like that the second. After all the crap that was going on beforehand, But now he knows that she's having an affair and getting paid money from her affair partner. Boom, he should have walked away right then and there, said, that's it, we're done, and a story, and But no, he stays with her, and you're going to find out why. We went to counseling. That's a mistake. Now, I've told some legitimate issues she was having, namely the panic attacks at the thought of getting coronavirus and being a single mom to our daughter. So, Instead of, so blocking the whole her having an affair thing and getting paid money and all that from her affair partner, she now was bringing the spotlight on her that she was having panic attacks, being afraid she's going to get coronavirus and this guy was going to die and she'd be left alone. She doesn't give a crap about this guy. 2 weeks go by since her last session. My wife starts feeling sick. During therapy, we promised each other an open phone policy if either of us felt uncomfortable, because she also said that she cheated because she was thinking I could easily have had an affair. So, she's blaming her cheating on him. She's blaming her cheating that, he was away too, so he could have an affair, so therefore I had to do it to protect myself. Twisting the situation around, gaslighting, making him out to be the bad guy. How many times do you hear this story, right? Remember this, guys, before you guys think it's a great idea, you young guys, to go run off and get married and not really get to know your girl very well. Not test drive the car for a good while before you do it. Just remember that these things happen, and also, when you think that it's a good idea to let her boss you around, tell you what to do, and basically be Mr. Captain Sub. Garden hoe type. I felt she was being sneaky again. Really, you think? So I asked if I could see her phone. She then said she needed to talk to me. She broke the news that she took 2 pregnancy tests and went to the doctor when I was at work with the father, and the texts reflect that it's a foregone conclusion that the baby isn't mine. Really, dude? You're figuring that out just now? I didn't want to come face to face with the other man, but my wife said that he wants to be part of the kid's life. Well, you know what? That he can certainly be part of that kid's life because that is his kid. And this is when this guy, if not before, when he found out that she was having the affair, if there's any time now to get out and end it with her, right now, there's complete and total proof to everyone that, guess what? She had the affair with this kid. Time to go. No, he doesn't do it. My wife and I are both white, and the other man is African American, and the other man says that he is the only one who can impart on the kid the other half of his or her identity. After I told my family, they said that eventually my daughter was going to ask questions, and there was no way to brush this under the rug. They were blowing up about the fact that I was going to have a physical representation of my wife's infidelity around me, and begged me to leave her. So his whole family saying, get out of there, end it with her. You're out of your damn mind for many reasons. It wasn't just because of obviously, the kid. It is many other reasons. My wife had previously said that if I tried to leave her, it would just end up breaking my daughter's heart, so using the daughter as leverage to ensure that she has this guy around to pay the bills and all that. And in the past few days, I've been bombarded by assumptions that I will be considered to be racist towards the child, especially from the birth father. Oh my God. From the birth father? Why is this guy even talking to that guy? This guy should be out of there, but he's communicating with this guy, and it doesn't make a difference what assumptions there are. This child is obviously going to be Tifa, the half-brother of his daughter. So, I'm sure this guy's going to be cordial, but he's not going to be going around being, harsh and those other things he was saying. Gotta be kidding me. This has done nothing, this is DD1. This has not done anything to my view that every person is equal, and it burns me that people think this way. Because this awful thing of infidelity that I experienced involved a black man, and will soon involve a biracial baby, that I'm supposedly racist. I will never be anything but affectionate to the kid. Hang on, dude. You can be cordial to the kid because that is obviously your daughter's now. Half-brother or half-brother or sister. But you need to be affectionate because it's not your kid, and by the way, you should be out of there. I will honor the child as my daughter's sibling, but I don't think I can stand my wife anymore. You think? I don't think I can stand being around her, because every moment it's always anger and stress for me. Like, how this baby she wants to have is coming, but I don't see how I can be in the delivery room when the father wants to be there. I don't know what to tell my daughter, who knows I'm very upset right now. Dude, be a man. Stop this worrying about what everybody thinks. Do what's best for you. Be a man for God's sakes, okay? You're a whipped. This is why she's treating it like this. And why would this guy be in the delivery room with his wife, with the delivering? That having the child of the guy she was having an affair with, are you out of your mind? Don't tell me this. Doing this for the girl, upsetting the daughter, divorce her, move on, try to get full custody of the child. Okay, you're not making a whole lot of money, so she's not going to get a lot from you. Okay? Everybody knows darn well she's been having an affair. Everybody can see there's obvious physical proof of this, and the daughter's upset because you're gone out of the picture for a while, okay? But guess what? She'll live, okay? But how about you? How about taking care of yourself? This is insane. I can barely afford to make rent for our family, yet she was out spending some other guy's money on her own comfort items. Do I stay and allow the father to start paying for expenses related to him to the baby? Do I have to let him visit my house and now or talk to him? I don't think I can do either. My wife said that the affair ended, but now their relationship will never end. You should. You have to answer these questions. Any real man would know the answer to this question. Get out of there, okay? And that guy will obviously pay for that child because that's his child, okay? But you shouldn't be responsible for this child, and certainly shouldn't be with his wife, who you've been with for all this time. No way, it's over. But my daughter is very astute and will be seeing how I handle this, and part of me still remembers the things that made me fall in love with my wife. Dude, your wife is trash. Complete trash. Treats you like crap. See, guys? No, this guy's obviously AA. A guy that has no options, low value, no you know. Bottom. Bottom of the totem pole in terms of some of that's desired by women. So, of course, he has his mindset, and he's going to allow himself to be treated this way. He's thinking about what the things that made him fall in love with his wife. His wife's trash, okay? And she'll do it again, mark my word. And, yeah, his daughter is watching the situation, even at 3 years old, and she's gonna see, is my daddy gonna act like a man? Or is he acting like a total whip? And believe me, as the girl gets older, she's gonna pay attention to these things. But I hate to say that I would have forgiven her if she wasn't pregnant. I'm sorry, I don't hate the kid or anything, but this just made everything much more complicated. I'm at a loss of how I would leave her. Get a lawyer, that's what you do. Move out, go. Stay at your dad's place that you were doing before when you had that job. Get a lawyer, find out all your options, good, bad, or ugly, okay? And then, go about divorcing her, try to get full custody of the child, okay? You're not making a whole lot of money, so hopefully it means you won't have to, pay a whole lot, okay? You haven't been married, obviously, that long, so I'm guessing your alimony, if any, is gonna BBE, would last that long. I wonder if the guy even owns his own house or he's renting. Who knows? But get out of there. Life is short. The guy's 29 years old, or maybe he's 30 now. Why stay in a situation like this? She's treating you like complete garbage and disrespect, okay? But again, at the end of the day, guys, again, this is what happens when you let yourselves be bossed around by. Too true. Like, guys, I don't care if you are literally living in your car and don't have 2 nickels to rub together. Still walk around. Have some self-respect, even though that's going on. You gotta have respect for yourself. Nobody's gonna respect you if you don't have respect for yourself. And if you let people push you around and boss you around, tell you what to do and all that like she's doing, what do you expect? Now, I got a few comments that I got here that other people, to show you what other guys are thinking about the situation. And it's not just me. One guy says, your daughter will absolutely be seeing how you handle this. Do you want to give her the message that you should stay in a marriage where you aren't respected if there are kids involved? Duh. You didn't do anything wrong. Leave your wife and co-parent your daughter without being married to her. Plenty of children grow up this way today. Children will absolutely understand after a while. Yeah, well, he says. He didn't do anything wrong. I mean, obviously, this guy, like I said in the beginning, I respected this guy, took any job he could get to take care of his family. I respect that. It's awesome. But what I don't respect is him obviously acting like a weakling and letting her, treat him with disrespect, and they were apart, and she wouldn't talk to him on the phone, or the FaceTime. Obviously the cheating, let's not forget that when he gets. He moves back home, she tells him to go to your room, essentially live in another room, and don't come out, and he goes along with this. He actually puts up with a lot of this crap. He doesn't divorce her right then and there when he finds out about the affair, then the pregnancy, and he's still right that he did wrong. Another guy says, I think it's crazy that the wife was asleep and her 3-year-old was awake and alone. Like, how is this woman going to raise 2 kids alone when she's not even paying attention to the first one? Very good point. Not to mention, she abandoned her husband who was legit trying to earn a living and keep his family safe. Yes. The original poster, fight for full custody. You're actually in a great spot because of your income. You likely won't have to pay alimony for your unfaithful wife. She'll be a broke-ass single mom who'll have to face full consequences for the first time in her life. Yeah, fight to get full custody if you can. He's not making much, so hopefully he doesn't have to pay a whole lot. And fight to get that daughter. And that way then, the child of the affair, that's on her and that other guy. And finally, the last guy says this. If you allow this to stand, it will be the model from which your daughter bases her future relationships on. If you don't want your diet to grow up and go through what you're going through, set the example. Yes. Again, How many people stay in these horrible, dysfunctional, screwed-up marriages just because they don't want to hurt the kids? I get they don't want to do that. I respect that they want to break up the family. But is it better to see the kids in a household where there's constant turmoil and drama, and mom and dad fighting and not loving each other and things like this? Tis, this crap you see on daytime TV? No. Or, it's better that the one stands his ground, the guy here divorces her, moves on, heals, and hopefully, one day, if he does relationships, he learns his lessons, and ends up in a relationship where the woman actually treats him well, and there's love and respect in the girl. The daughter, the child, can see something healthy, so that she doesn't herself end up in a situation just like this one day, and turn out like the mother, or turn out like him, being mistreated and taken advantage of, and all that, right? So it's much better to walk away and end it. Yes, it's hard, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, but what's the other option? Sticking in. Something like this? That's crazy. So, but anyhow, guys, that would be a good thing to share again, that point. The point I'm trying to make. So, much of these stories, guys, you gotta stand up for yourself, okay? It doesn't mean you have to be this overbearing jerk in your relationships, but you stand up for yourself. You be the leader. You don't let yourself be pushed around, taken advantage of, and disrespected, okay? Because, like I said before, if a woman doesn't respect you, she sure as hell isn't going to love you, and one or two things is going to happen. Either she's going to cheat on you, have affairs, and horrible stuff like this, or something she's going to break up with you and get with a guy that actually acts like a man, takes charge, and doesn't allow himself to be mistreated, okay? Because women want a man. They want a guy that's their rock, that's their leader, okay? It's not that hard to figure out, but there's so much brainwashing done by TV and movies. The guys think they gotta act this way to get her to love him. No, not at all. So anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.